in the fight song?
I would love to. All right. 1, 2, you know what to do. Hail to the Towson Tigers.
Say to the black and gold. Fight on now and forever. Be strong and bold. Fight. Hail to the Towson Tigers. And happy for all to see. Fight. Tigers, fight. Lead us to victory. Wow, that was getting a little fast. Whoa. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much. We'll now move into roll call. Attorney General Robinson. Is Attorney General Robinson present? If not, we'll come back to roll call when she arrives. Excuse the dog barking outside of my house. All right, we'll now move into the approval of the minutes. Are there any amendments to last meeting's minutes? If not, we will consider them approved. Are there any amendments to the agenda? If not, we will follow the agenda as written.
But Vice President DeVoe, I'm sorry to interject. I thought I had seen a absent request for Attorney General Robinson.
Oh, you are right. That somehow, yes, that somehow slipped my mind. Thank you for reminding me. If we can come back to that, and then Chief of Staff Ambush, would you mind delivering the roll call? But we can come back.
Okay, just let me know when to be ready.
Thank you. Just find the roster somewhere. We should have prepared for that. That's my apologies for that. Okay, thank you. All right, we have a guest speaker today. Is Ted Shepard present?
I'm here.
Hi, okay, hello. So Ted Shepard is here with us on behalf of No Labels Youth Congress in DC. And feel free to bring us up to.
That's right, and thanks again for inviting me to speak here. I'm very excited. Yes, my name's Ted Shepard. I am a college student who's also working at a political firm called No Labels. And No Labels is a bipartisan political firm headquartered in DC that focuses on bipartisanship. And they are, they kind of run the Problem Solvers Caucus, which you might have heard of. It's a bipartisan caucus in Congress that tries to work to get things done. And it's made up of 25 Democratic and 25 Republican members. So they do a lot of good work there. Most recently on the COVID stimulus bill, they're really working to get something passed. But I'm here to talk to you guys about the No Labels Youth Congress, which is a recent initiative that we're rolling out. And the idea is that we're working on all of these bipartisan and unifying efforts, putting country over party for adults. And so we're trying to bring that to the younger generation as well. So we're bringing together students and people ages about 18 to 35, but mostly college students and law school students around that age, bringing them from all across the country and all across the political spectrum to discuss and to learn together, hopefully to find some common ground in this increasingly divisive time. And I think it's going really well. We've had 2 meetings so far. It started earlier this fall, and we've had some really good guest speakers and some really good conversations and examples of these students learning from and with each other. So we had one in late September and then one in October. And for the one in October, we had a guest speaker, Ron Christie, and we students were able to discuss in breakout rooms. And so the one that I'm talking about today, we're going to be having our next meeting this Saturday on November 14th. And we'll be joined by 2 members of the Problem Solvers Caucus, 2 U.S. congressmen. And so they'll talk about the current state of the country, where we are with bipartisanship and what's going on in the Capitol. And then after that, that's kind of the educational part. But then all the attendees will be split up into breakout rooms and will be able to discuss amongst themselves on the issues that they care about and hopefully find some common ground there. So I hope we can get some Towson University students there. I think it'll be a great way to learn about politics and hopefully learn about bipartisanship, and also just to communicate and network with other future leaders, because that's the movement that we're trying to build.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ted. Are there any questions?
Senator Goodman here. How do we get involved? How do we sign up for it?
I sent the invitation language and a flyer out to the vice president, which I'm hoping that we can distribute to everybody else. And it's on Zoom, so it'll be at 2 p.m. on November 14th, this Saturday. So you just go to the Zoom link and you can get on.
Absolutely, we can distribute that, and then hopefully we can send that information in the chat on YouTube as well. But thank you so much, Ted. Are there any other questions? If not, thank you for joining us. Feel free to stay, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chief of Staff Ambush with the roll call, please.
All right, I'm taking roll call today. I apologize if I get your last name wrong. I'm used to typing it out, not saying it. President Endiong.
Present. Sorry, I was muted.
Vice President DeVoe.
Present.
Treasurer Eagle.
Present. Sorry.
Director Nduka.
Present.
Assistant Director Bellio.
Present.
Director Whiteside. Director Whiteside.
Present. Sorry, I was muted.
Director Fishkind.
Present.
Director Triskovska.
Present.
Director Pero.
Present.
Director Kapoor.
Present.
Assistant Director Ferguson.
Present.
Solicitor General Whiting.
Present.
Director White.
Present.
Director Foster. Director Moody.
Present.
Assistant Director Banks. Assistant Director Banks. Assistant Director Hogarth.
Present.
Director McComb.
Present.
Director DMA.
Present.
Director Brown.
Present.
Director Kemp. Director Kemp. Representative Blumenauer.
President, but I don't know if my camera's working today.
Senator Dixon.
Present.
Senator Watts.
Present.
Senator Kinty.
Present.
Senator Eaglin.
Present.
Senator Newman.
Present.
Senator Efe.
Present.
Senator Goodman.
Present.
Senator Williams.
Present.
Senator Rink.
Present.
Senator Harding.
Present.
Senator Tromble.
Present.
Senator Teti.
Present.
Pro Temp Wheeler.
Present.
Senator Teklu.
Present.
Senator Thaxton.
Present.
Chief Justice Foreman.
Present.
Justice Sherman.
Present.
Thank you. All right. I'm good.
Does that complete the roll call?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me okay?
It's a
Okay.
bit muffled, but yeah.
What'd you say?
It's a bit muffled for me, but it's good.
Oh, okay. I'll try to speak up a little bit. Thank you. All right. So now we'll move into public participation and student concerns. Are there any student concerns today? Nope. Okay. If not, we'll move on to communications. Advisory remarks.
All right, good evening, everyone. I do not need to share my screen, so leave it the way it is. I want to start by, wishing you all well. Hopefully everything's going well with you all in terms of not just the election part of things, but just in general as it relates to the time frame of the semester and where you're at. So hopefully you all are getting the rest that you need and getting the support that you need. I hope that you know by now that I am definitely someone that can help you. If there are any issues that you're dealing with personally that you would like to discuss in a more private forum. So please, just keep in mind that my email address is cbailey@towson, which is hopefully already available to you all. And I will drop my personal phone number in the chat space just so that folks have that. I know this is a public forum, and so hopefully this is more for those that are within the SGA. Wanted to let you know, give you some really positive updates. So Mary Leeper, who many of you have either interfaced with via electronically or in person over the span of time, she is doing very well, and she's actually going to be re-engaging in the university environment come Monday. She may have already reached out to some folks personally, but I know for a fact that she's going to be back on Monday. That doesn't mean that she'll be physically in the office, obviously, but she's going to be present, at least via online. Matt Leno, the Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs and Campus Life, who is also the co-advisor, who you hopefully by now know his name, he's also doing very well. And actually, he's been back in the fold as of last week. And so he and I met last Tuesday, and we've had several conversations since then. And so he just wanted me to let you all know that he's doing well. He did have a very serious health circumstance, but he is active and able to ride his bike and do a bunch of other things that he wasn't able to do closer to the time frame of his surgery. So, but he is definitely excited to work with as many of you as possible. And so it depends on what you need. But, so now we're back at a co-advisory structure, which is really helpful for you all because Matt has access to higher level administrators that I may not always have access to outside of Dr. Hurt. And so if there is anything that comes up, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to him. And again, I'll put his email into the chat space as soon as I can. Return to TU, as many of you may have started to hear, we're starting to gear up for the spring semester. I know it's November and it seems like, okay, well, we need to get through the end of the semester before we start talking about spring. But it's important to know that there are a lot of discussions that are starting to kick up about, what will the spring semester look like? And, in my previous reports, I talked about January 25th being the official first day of classes. The first 2 weeks of the semester will be virtual, but then the plan is to move to a hybrid environment. And so we'll see kind of what that means in terms of access to the office here, because I'm in the office right now, access to the SGA suite, or even programmatic initiatives that some of you may want to put forth. So I'll do my best to provide that information in this forum, as well as through other individuals that I meet with on a pretty regular basis. In terms of program promotions, just want to continue to let you all know about Involved at TU and the TU events calendar, and of course, social media. So please, for those of you that are doing programming for the remainder of the semester, please use those different outlets. If you need more information specifically about how to put things out on Involved at TU, I could definitely help with that, and also connect you to some other folks in student activities that can help with that. But the TU events calendar, I think by now, many of you have kind of figured that out. So I don't want to necessarily reiterate what's already been put out there, but please put your event information out there, because students are definitely checking in on the Involved at TU app or website. And I'm not sure about the TU events calendar, but it doesn't hurt to double dip. And you all know the value of social media. So utilize all those elements as much as possible. The last thing I want to say is, I continue to be very impressed with how many of you are interfacing with the institution and the different ways that you are, whether it be being on committees that you're assigned to, part of my lights in my office, or different discussions that you've been a part of. I am very privileged to be connected to this administration. I'm really thankful for all the work that you're doing, and I can't say it enough, so I'll continue to say it as much as possible, because I think it's really good for you all to be reaffirmed in terms of your efforts to not only do your work, but also represent the students the way that you do. So thank you very much for your service. And I look forward to the continued work that we'll do. I know we only have so many semesters, so many weeks left in the semester, but I look forward to working with you and supporting you as much as possible. With that, I yield.
That was beautiful. Thank you. All right. Appropriations Committee.
Hey everyone, so the committee is going to start reviewing the financial policy this week. So if anyone has any suggestions for amendments or additions, just let me know. And with that, I yield.
Government Operations Committee.
Hello, everyone. So over the past 2 weeks, the committee has deemed resolutions number 21, number 22, and number 23 favorable with amendments. And with that, I yield.
Thank you so much. Rules Committee.
No report.
President DeYoung.
Hi, everybody. Happy Tiger Tuesday. Just a few things. So I started working with Roxburgh SGA on overall USM support for pass-fail options, and I've been working with Director Dieme and Vice President DeVoe on that. Vice President DeVoe and myself also have a meeting with the Provost and Dr. Hurt tomorrow at 1 o'clock regarding next semester overall and the pass-fail option specifically at Towson. So if you guys have any questions regarding that, you can just let me know. There's also a story on the SGA Instagram if you want to just go do it there too. And last thing, I have a USM meeting next week on Sunday. So if you have anything that you want me to bring up or talk about particularly, just shoot me an email or a text and I'll make sure to get back to you. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Treasurer Yeagle.
Hi, everyone. So final budget submission is Monday, November 16th. So please continue, senators, please continue to spread the word to your student groups and try to BCC me in those emails just for accountability purposes. Thank you. With that, I yield.
Thank you. Chief of Staff Ambush.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so where do I start with? So all of our pre-meeting spaces for the rest of the semester are full. However, I have already gotten some people reaching out for that space. So if you are down to do a pre-meeting in the spring semester, let me know right now and I can immediately plug it into the calendar. So if you do want that Thursday for an hour where all of SGA is mandatory to be there, like if you want to talk to them, you can book it now. Next, I want to remind you all that GA and pre-meeting next semester are the exact same times, 5 to 7 and 5 to 6. That means when you are all doing your class schedule, please remember that. For the spring semester, we're not as lenient because you all know the times since most of you have been here for all, if not most, of the fall semester. So when you're doing your spring semester classes, please make sure you have those times blocked out. If you have a class that is like, let's say you're a senior and you have a class and like the last class you need is like during pre-meeting or something, you need to immediately tell your exec liaison and Attorney General Robinson, so we can figure that out. But otherwise, those two meeting slots should be open. Next, I put in a survey in the group chat, kind of evaluation for the whole exec board and SGA. I can't make it mandatory since I don't know who's doing the responses since it's anonymous, but please everyone take it. It really helps us as the exec board know what we're doing. Make sure like we can really go back and see like what we need to do better. It also helps us just for winter retreat where we do a lot of like introspection and looking back at like what went right in the fall and what went wrong in the fall so we can have a better spring. So please take that survey. I promise you it takes less than 5 minutes. Please be honest, truthful, and stuff like that. And anything else I'll probably mention on Thursday right before our presentation during the pre-meeting. So with that, I yield.
Thank you so much, Department of Academic Affairs.
Hi guys, just a quick few things. So basically, next Monday from 8 to 9, I'm having a joint panel with students helping Honduras. And basically it's going to be not only an educational panel, but education in Honduras, since that's their main objective of the organization. So if any of you guys want to get involved with that, please tell me. Or if anyone has any questions, please tell me. And if anyone has any more ideas on how I should gain more student concerns, like with academic affairs, please tell me or like email me or anything. And I yield.
Thank you so much, Department of Campus Activities.
Hi, everybody. So first, CAB is having an event tomorrow with Ariana DeBose, who plays the Bullet in Hamilton. She'll be speaking about like social justice, and we'll also be having a Q&A. So please come out and support if you can. Lastly, our TigerFest survey is now live. So please share this survey with your friends and other organizations you're a part of. The more responses we get, the better we can create a better TigerFest. So please just share the survey, and I'll actually put it in the chat right now. So with that, I yield.
If you tweet the survey, you can be sure to retweet it too. Y'all share it, please, please, please. You can't complain unless you took the survey. But thank you so much. Department of Civic Engagement.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to give updates on what the Counseling Center and what they're doing to support students with election stress and everything. I'll put the link to sign up in the chat and we'll share it around. But there's sessions this Friday at 4 p.m., Wednesday, November 18th at 4 p.m., December 4th at 4 p.m. and December 9th at 12 p.m. So if you're able to attend and you want to get all your feelings out, please feel free to go there. I'm also hoping to plan an event soon that it shows students what they can do civic engagement wise beyond the polls. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Department of Communications.
Hi, no report.
Thank you, Department of Community Outreach. Department of Community Outreach.
Hello, happy Tiger Tuesday. No report.
Okay, thank you, Department of Diversity and Inclusion. Sorry, I couldn't see.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. Just to echo some of the things that Sarah was saying, I do want us to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves during all of these very difficult times. So please do take advantage of that event series that the CSD is partnering with the Counseling Center for. I went to the first one. I was the only student that went, but still it was amazing to have like 10 counselors just talking to me. Beautiful. But yes, please go to that. In addition to that, I do encourage you all to look into just different human rights abuses that are happening abroad right now. It's absolutely disheartening to see what is happening, and I really encourage you all to mobilize and to just use your voice and do whatever you can do to impact change across borders. We just came off of an election, and I know we're feeling a lot of different ways about that. But if you are looking for another way to get active, another way to include others and to just ensure that the humanity of others is being lifted up, please, please, please make sure that you are educating yourself on things that are happening in Ethiopia, Nigeria, Cambodia, just all these different civil unrest that are happening abroad. In addition to that, the CSD is in the middle of something called Menstrual Health Week. And so there are plenty of events that will be happening about that. And so I do encourage you all to try to attend some of them just to make yourself a little bit more aware. And with that, I yield.
Thank you so much. Department of Health and Wellness. Department of Legislative Affairs.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. I apologize if my version of the fight song earlier hurt anyone's ears, but I hope you all are doing well. I do have some updates. Tiger Pride Day is going to be online, unfortunately. However, this could be a good thing because we're still going to get to meet with delegates and set up different calls and figure out all of that stuff. The survey is still out, so if anybody hasn't taken that, please, please do. Also send it, if you would like to send it to anybody that you know, that would be amazing. But yeah, take care of yourselves. It's still a very stressful time, but it sounds like everybody's doing really awesome work, and I know that this is a great group, so thank you guys, and with that I yield.
Thank you so much. Department of Special Projects.
Okay, hi everyone. So I know we were supposed to have an on-campus event for those who actually lived on campus. I'm in a cafe right now, I apologize, but that was supposed to be December 2nd. And actually that has been canceled due to an influx of COVID-19 cases. Very disappointing, but hopefully not forever. So that's just one announcement. Second, we had the How to Stand Out in a Job Search event with the Career Center on Monday. It went great. I was there, I took some notes, and there's also a recording of the event. So if anyone wasn't able to attend on Monday and wants to know like how to stand out in a job search, please let me know and I will send you the recording. Also, keep up with the event proposals. I'm getting so many amazing event proposals, but do keep in mind, of course, all events are online, so they look different. And Courtney and I have been understanding with like events closer to when you're submitting the proposals, but try to keep up with the checklist of the time and dates, because Courtney and I, as well as all of you guys, we all have other stuff outside of SGA, and it's not only us you have to go through, you also have to get material for the social media and things like that. So definitely keep that in mind when you are submitting them. So try not to make them too close to the event. And with that, I yield.
Thank you so much. Department of Marketing.
Hi everyone. So I just wanted to give a reminder that when you're filling out the marketing request, please try and be as detailed as possible and include like the dates and times of your event so that I'm able to create the flyer that best suits the description and the time of your event. And with that, I yield.
Are you finished, Director Whiteside?
Yes, sorry, with that I yield.
That's okay. I just didn't know if your audio went out. Okay, thank you. Department of Student Organizations.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tiger Tuesday. I hope we're all doing okay, just taking care of ourselves. It's really, really important, in this time. So it's going to be really brief. Tomorrow, we have our virtual town hall. And again, this is just a time for student groups to voice any concerns or ask any questions that they may have. It's just a free space for everyone to talk. So by all means, you're welcome to come, but it's not mandatory. It's tomorrow from 5 to 6. And I can put the link in the group me tomorrow. Senators, please remind your student groups, if you haven't already, that it is a requirement for packages 3 and 4 to attend. So please just make sure that that's told to them. Also, the deadline to send in any of the requirements in terms of Tiger Points, fundraising, community service, et cetera, is December 7th, 11:59 p.m. And that will be sent in my email this week. I also wanted to let everyone know that this is my last week here and Maya will be taking over. So I just wanted to thank everyone for extending me grace and being patient and just working with me. And I've been so privileged to work with everyone. And I'm so proud of everything that has been done. And y'all gonna see me, don't you worry. I have a couple of proposals that I wanna do in terms of bills. So I'm gonna be here. And of course, I know that there is a transition. So if you have any questions, I'm not going anywhere. Please still ask them and I will be happy to help with anything. And yeah, with that, I yield. Thank you.
Sorry, my audio has been kind of iffy, but thank you. Right, and we'll miss you, Department of New Student Development.
Hi, everyone. First of all, just really sad to hear that Kim's leaving. I didn't even know that. So good luck wherever you're going. Outside of that, if anyone is interested in joining Freshman Council, we have waived the applications for the rest of the semester. So please just email me at zmoody1@students.towson.edu, and then we can get the ball rolling on that. And with that, I yield.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much. I don't believe we have a report from MHEC because they haven't had a meeting since, so we're gonna keep on chugging along. Athletic Affairs Representative.
No report today.
Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay. Freshman Council Representative.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so Freshman Council Exec Board elections took place on October 28th, and the Diversity and Communications chairs were announced on November 4th by the President. The 2020-2021 FC Exec Board consists of Sidiana as the Chief of Staff, Malik Bari as Treasurer, Josie Alshouse as Vice President, and myself, Camille Parvizamatla, as President. The two chair positions were filled by Zion Albright and Gisela Ramos as the new Communications and Diversity chairs. Freshman Council will be presenting at Thursday's pre-meeting, and with that, I yield.
Yay! Congratulations. Okay. Office of the Solicitor General.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone, and I hope everyone is having a great week. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who came out, I think 2 weeks ago, for our Know Your Rights Voting Rights Week. And thank you to everyone who helped make it possible. Now my office is working on a textbook drive to accompany the legislation that we put out. If anyone wants to help work on that with me, please let me know. I'm also working on creating a community school that will teach advocacy to students and people in the community who want to come. So if anyone is also interested in that, please let me know. And I will be having a Student Appeals Committee meeting on Friday. And with that, I yield.
Thank you so much. Okay, I have a couple of things for my report today. So I've been having check-ins over the last week and a half with the Senate, which have been going really well. I love connecting with you all. I love you so much. And I wanted to also bring attention to a service event opportunity tomorrow. You all have requirements for community service throughout the semester, so this will be a great opportunity with Edenwald Senior Living Home tomorrow from 6:30 to 7:30. The Office of Civic Engagement and Social Responsibility has a post about it on their Instagram at TU Engaged. So if you want more information, that would be great. But it's a Zoom call with their residents and it should be really fun. So if you'd like to go to that, you can definitely do that. As I previously mentioned 2 weeks ago, resolution number 8's response in terms of hate bias incidents in the residence halls is ongoing in terms of implementation. We met with student conduct, OIE, and housing and residence life today. So more updates on the response to resolution number 8 coming soon. And then going off of that, I just want to emphasize how important it is this year into this administration to work towards implementation and not just writing bills just for the sake of writing them, but actually working towards implementing them. So that's really exciting. I would also say to directors and assistant directors specifically, if any of your campus liaisons, campus partners in different departments on campus would like to come to DA to present any resources, please let me know. So, oh, and just I want to emphasize for budget hearing, senators, you all will receive more information about that. You really don't know what budget hearing is like until you are in the midst of budget hearing, but we will explain what that looks like and the requirements for that. You all are required to be present for that. If anyone is a veteran from being in the Senate, you know that budget hearing is long but important. So more information to come about that. And yes, oh, and Treasurer Diego will be providing more information. Oh, and SGA Member of the Week. Yay, I get to say it. That's so fun. Okay, so SGA Member of the Week. This individual put on a great event. Chief of Staff Ambush, if you would like to talk about it a little bit more, honestly, you might be more fitting to give this announcement.
Yeah, okay, so this person collaborated with 2 other people for a week-long of events. They are a very active member in our SJ community. Their events absolutely were spectacular. They actually had the biggest event we've had so far. It had a very energetic crowd. We'll use that word. Had a very energetic crowd for one of their debates. And so our SJ member this week is Solicitor General Whiting.
Congratulations. Okay, and then I'm going to yield my time to Advisor Bailey, who has another announcement.
I would have wished that I was going before that announcement, because the reason that Vice President DeVoe gave me some space is because my wife, Suzanne, was sending me some texts about the governor's announcement today. And I just thought it would actually be appropriate, just because it's a part of our existence right now. And so congratulations to Kristen Whiting for that acknowledgement. Kimberly, we're going to miss you. Thank you for your service to the organization, and hopefully we'll see you in maybe another capacity as time goes on. But thank you for all the work that you've done up till now. In terms of the governor's announcement, there are just some important elements that I think will continue to affect us more personally than it will within this SGA environment. But for example, bars with no food can't be open. There's going to be a reduced capacity to 50% or 25% for certain restaurants, depending on kind of what their scope is. State employees, which it won't affect you all, but this is actually important for you to know that we're going to basically, for sure, continue to telework, and then there'll be an encouragement for others to do the same. If anyone travels out of the state, upon return to the state, you'll have to quarantine for 14 days and get tested. That is not a university mandate. This is all from the state. This is not from Towson University. No gatherings more than 10, and you should wear a mask inside and outside public spaces, regardless of the ability to physical distance. So basically, you'll have to wear a mask wherever you go. There are additional things that will probably come out as time goes on, but as you may or may not know at this point, part of the reason why the governor was speaking today, in addition to last week, was because we have seen an increase in COVID cases, positivity rates, and hospitalizations. And so those are all the markers that resulted in a lot of the things we experienced in the past. And so I think it's just important for you all to know as students kind of what the state is saying. Again, this is not Towson University's announcement. This is just from the state of Maryland. And so please look up any information that you can find, whether it be through WBAL or other news outlets, or even the state government websites that you may have access to. And again, I wish this wasn't the way I ended my time with y'all in terms of talking to y'all, but I thought it would be really appropriate and responsible to share some information as it was coming in, as opposed to waiting for you all to find out. So thank you very much for Vice President DeVoe for yielding your time. And with that, I yield.
That's okay. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that update. Are there any opinions of the court?
Yes, I have an opinion of the, wait, yes, there is an opinion of the court. So there's an opinion of the court regarding the Association of Latino Professionals for America. So for the decision, the appeal submitted by the Association of Latino Professionals for America on Friday, October 23rd, was approved by the Judicial Board on Thursday, October 29th. Therefore, we have granted an extension for their requirements of receiving an advisor's signature and meeting with their advisor, with their SGA senator to meet the Tiger Stripes requirements. So our reasoning for this, the student organization is a new organization on campus. While being a new organization and also having to deal with COVID-19, this has faulted to their inability to complete the advisor's signature and SGA senator meeting on time. We, the Judicial Board, do not see this as the fault of the organization and thus have approved their appeal. With that, I yield.
Thank you so much for your important work. We really appreciate that. Senator Goodman, you had a question for Advisor Bailey.
Well, yes, about the governor's new guidance. What did they say exactly? They said that you cannot, when they say you cannot travel out of state, does that also mean like if you live in the DC area, like you cannot travel to the District of Columbia or Virginia for during like the next few months, as long as this new guidance is in effect?
Thank you, Senator Goodman. That's a good question. Let me just preface my response with, I didn't listen to the response. So again, I'm getting the secondhand. However, I don't believe that you can't travel outside of state. It's just if you choose to, when you come back, they're asking that you quarantine. Now, that is not brand new. That's something that was in place prior to when we moved through several phases of COVID. And so I don't know if that includes DC, because that's a really good question, because I was in DC this past weekend to celebrate my wedding anniversary. And so I've been very careful with who I've been around, not to put myself in a place to possibly pass along anything. And I'll look to get a test again very soon, but that was before the press conference, obviously. So I would just say if you leave the state of Maryland, you probably should think about trying to get a test if you're able to. Not everyone can. And so that's something that I should have said before. So I really do appreciate your comments or your question, Senator Goodman, because some of us do have health insurance, some of us may not. Some of us may or may not have the ability to get tested. But if you do have the ability to get tested and you travel, please do. It can't hurt. The tests are pretty quick, and like places like Patient First and other amenities or places like that do provide pretty fast results within like 2 to 3 days, maybe even sooner. So it's like you're not going to be able to get any tests on campus unless you're selected for those tests. But hopefully as time goes along, the testing is made more readily available across the state than more so than it is now. So is that helpful, Senator Goodman?
Yes, and also will we still be on campus in person like after the first 2 weeks despite this new guidance?
Nothing has come out from the institution about a change in that plan. We are all, from the staff and faculty end of things, planning for the first 2 weeks to be virtual in terms of classes. There's still a plan for offices like mine, student activities and others to provide some on-campus, in-person events and activities outside of the classroom for the first 2 weeks and beyond. So until we hear more from the president's office, we won't know. But she's really responsive to these kind of reports, so we shall see. The hope is, though, that we will be able to move into the plan that was set in terms of being more of a hybrid experience as opposed to fully virtual.
Point of clarification from Assistant Director Ferguson.
Thank you. Well, to start, congratulations on your wedding anniversary, Advisor Bailey. And I had a question about COVID testing. So since there is this influx in cases, do you think that the university will start to provide COVID testing for all their students again? Because I know, like as you mentioned, sometimes COVID testing isn't necessarily available for everyone, especially people that may not have health insurance, and also it's just more convenient since it is on campus. So do you know if there'll possibly be a change in that?
I do not know at this time, partly because the governor's announcement just came out. But as soon as I know something and it seems like it's appropriate maybe for the next GA or General Assembly meeting, I will definitely share that information either during my report or I'll send it through the leadership to provide that. So I apologize that I don't have the answer right now. But I think this is, just like we've been experiencing, it's kind of an ongoing situation. So as soon as I know something, I will share.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I believe those are, Director Moody granted. We'll now move into new business. A couple of things before I transition in terms of chairing. One is we may have to table a bill or more than one, which is perfectly fine. Senators, feel free to do that if you feel that is necessary, just because we do have a full agenda today. And then also, we'll have to break Senate rules for resolution number 4 to be reviewed because it is an emergency piece of legislation. So I can either make that recommendation or a senator can make that motion when we do arrive at that bill. But yes, Pro Temp Wheeler, take it away.
Okay. And on Director Kapoor, how many senators do we have present for today?
We have 14 senators.
Okay, thank you. Are there any motions on the floor?
Senator Teddy, I move to break Senate's rules to review resolution number 24.
Is there a second?
Senator Eaglin, I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? If not, we'll now move into a vote to break Senate rules and review resolution number 24. Others in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read the vote count back to us?
Yeah, we have 10 in favor, so.
It's not, yeah, some more coming in now.
Okay, yeah.
I accidentally messaged mine privately. I sincerely apologize for that, Chair.
Okay, we have 12 in favor now. 13 in favor. Also, just a reminder, especially in voting, please make sure you're on screens, as you know, by your computer, by your desktop. So the final count is 13 in favor.
13 in favor. With that, the motion passes. We're now reviewing resolution 24. Senator Rink, would you like to speak on behalf of this bill?
Yes, hi everyone. Happy Tiger Tuesday. So this bill is in regards to reinstating the alternative grading policy that the university chose to use last semester in response to COVID-19. So that allowed students to have an extended pass-fail period, which was up until the last day of classes. This is in response to a few different petitions, 2 main petitions that have been going around both at Towson and across the University of Maryland system that have all been in favor of extending the pass-fail once again this semester. A couple of reasons for this, namely being that we were expecting to have at minimum a hybrid semester, and that was, as we all know, changed very abruptly. And at that point, many students had already, used their financial aid, paid for their classes, and it's unrealistic to assume that everyone who may not have been happy with taking online classes would be able to just drop all of their classes. At this point, we were kind of already buckled in for the ride. So I think it is only fair for the university to extend this courtesy again to its students if it has its students' best interests in mind. And this is essentially just doing the exact same thing as we did last semester over again, not making any changes to the alternative grading policy, and just extending that courtesy once again to Towson students who, once again, were kind of blindsided by going online.
Vice President DeVoe, point of information.
Senator Brink, can you clarify this for me? So is this piece of legislation saying that this would extend throughout the virtual learning format, or just for this school year?
Oh, good question. So this would be extending for the fall semester until the last day of classes, the same way it was in the spring semester, where you had the ability up until your final day of classes to choose whether or not to pass fail a course. So this is just for the fall semester. If something like this occurs again in the spring, I think it would be better personally to readdress it at that point, rather than saying this is for all online learning purposes.
Understood. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Thank you so much.
Is there any more discussion? If not, we will now vote on the bill as a whole. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read up 14 in favor, but can you please say it aloud?
Yeah, 14 in favor.
Okay. And Vice President, well, you also had a friendly amendment.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be voted on, but it was just to add a period at the end of the bill. It was just missing a period, but that's just for the minutes. No worries.
Senator Goodman here. I move that we review resolution number 21 concerning the elimination of SAT, ACT requirements from Towson admission permanently.
Is there a second?
Senator Teddy, I second.
Is there any discussion? If no further discussion, we will now move into a vote to review resolution number 21. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read the vote aloud for us?
Yes, 14 in favor.
With that, the motion passes. We're now reviewing resolution number 21. And Senator Teddy and Senator Tron, would you both like to speak on this bill's behalf? And Solicitor General writing as well.
Sure. I'm reading off my computer, so excuse me if I'm looking back and forth. But basically we just wrote this bill on behalf of Solicitor General Whiting. And it's basically a bill to extend what is it called? Extend the ACT/ACT elimination requirement to be permanent, because as of right now Towson has the requirement, the elimination, but it's only for the COVID period, and this bill basically will make it so it's a permanent thing, and student wouldn't be required to submit their ACT/ACT tests to be able to get accepted to Towson.
And really the grounds that we wrote this one is, when you're in the college admission process, you still write your essays, you still turn in GPA, resume, all that kind of stuff. But there's no real point to turning in the SAT and ACT when really one of the main effects of these tests is that underprivileged households don't get the resources like upper middle class or upper class households do to take this test, where it costs a whole lot of money to hire a tutor, take the test, get the score sent out. So we think it's better to just cut all of that out of the process in general.
Just to piggyback off of what was already said, I wanted for this bill to be written because currently Towson has suspended the SAT and ACT requirement, but like they said, only for the COVID period. I think the fact that they have suspended it even for that period goes to show that it's valuable for it to be suspended completely. The cost of taking these tests is extremely expensive if you have to continuously take them. The strain is just too much on students, and the standardization is ridiculous because a test score should not define you. There are so many other ways for us to evaluate students to see if they're able to make it into this school. So I really advise all senators to vote in favor of this bill.
And Vice President DeVoe, I know you said you wanted to speak on this bill's behalf as well.
Absolutely. So the provost is also in favor of this. I'm not sure if she's present today, but she is in favor of this bill. And other institutions are looking at this also, which is really, really great. And yes, look at the senators with a table. I love to see it. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. I also wanted to emphasize that standardized testing, it's just not standard. That's just the truth of the matter. Like it doesn't tell your intelligence, it tells your awareness of a specific cultural experience. So let's say you live in an inner city near no body of water, and then there's a question in the English section about a toboggan. Why would you know what a toboggan is? You wouldn't. And then it also, talks about the fact that you just may not have money for a tutor. It just so Senator Trumbull talked about it earlier, but I just want to emphasize that because it's just, I might be preaching to the choir, so I apologize. But I just wanted to emphasize that too. And there have been studies, and I can send the link to the study that I did in my urban schools class for a presentation in the chat that you all can look at. But there have been studies that said like questions that remain on the SAT were the ones that white students tended to do better on. And then disproportionately, Black students or students of color would do worse on those questions, and they just conveniently kept those questions. But that's neither here nor there. But I just wanted to emphasize that there's that, and this would be a supplemental thing. You can still submit those, test scores, but it would no longer be required. But with that, I yield.
Senator Goodman, point of information.
If I have this correct, basically what this bill is proposing is that Towson becomes an SAT, ACT optional school.
Yes, basically.
Are we aware of any other USM institutions that have done this already, and like any neighboring states that have done this, and like how is it affected in terms of like how admissions processes are done?
I'm not sure about neighboring states per se, but I did my research, and I saw that like Goucher, McDaniel, Salisbury, Loyola already opted for this for the ACT/ACT requirement to be optional for their schools. So that's that for that, but I'm not sure about like neighboring states per se.
Did it have a better effect in terms of like admissions diversity and other like aspects like that? And
I did not look too deep into it, so I wouldn't be sure how to answer that question. But if somebody else knows the answer to that, please chip in.
I think this is also a fairly new concept. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't really any data on that specific question yet, seeing as how, as far as I'm concerned, it's really only been a year since schools have gone test optional. So not a whole lot of time to tell.
Okay, Director White, point of clarification.
Can I yield my time to either Olivier or, Chief of Staff Olivier Ambush or Director Triskaska, yeah, because they said that they could respond to that question.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so basically, I do know American University is test optional. They were test optional long before COVID. They've been test optional for I think like 6 or 7 years now. And they're a pretty prestigious university with pretty high graduation rate and stuff. So even though I don't have like the data, the fact that American University does it and they don't seem to like suffer at all. I also do know Harvard University is going test optional, I think for COVID though. So, you know, if those schools are going test optional, like they probably looked at the data and saw that it was beneficial for their schools. So I don't see why it shouldn't be beneficial for Towson.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I also was able to pull up like a quick list. George Washington University also is test optional. University of Delaware is test optional. And it appears that there are like a fair amount of colleges that have kind of done this research. Again, I'm not quite sure of the exact layout in terms of how it did trickle through with the students, but a lot of these colleges have kind of been. I know NYU is, I believe, test flexible, excuse me, and they have been kind of reporting relatively good results because of it.
Okay, and Senator Tekla, we have point of clarification.
I mean, everybody kind of pretty much went over the question, but my other question is, like, I knew American University, I know they're optional, but also I know that their acceptance rate is very low. So it's like, which makes it like you need to have like a higher GPA or like your essay is going to be good. So do you think Towson would add something as a requirement if they are going to take off like the SAT results? I mean, yeah, the standard exams or anything like that, as if like a requirement besides your GPA, your high school GPA and essay and extracurriculum activities or other requirements?
No, I just think that would be more of a movement towards a heavier reliance on those other things, which I think makes more sense. Shows more of your character rather than how well you take a test.
Yeah, I have to agree with Senator Trumbull on that. I just feel like SATs are kind of a temporary thing. It's only like for a certain amount of time that you're preparing for that, while your GPA kind of shows what you've been doing since like the 9th grade to like senior year. So that's more of like long term, and it shows like your progress and such. While your SAT, you've only been preparing for it like probably like starting your junior year, and it's like just a small amount of time you've been preparing for that for. So it doesn't really show like much about your character or your progress per se.
And Senator Dixon, you have a comment?
I have a comment. I wanted to just comment on the bill as a whole. I really do like it, and I'm very thankful that this was created, because I'm like one of those people who has never really had like I'm pretty sure this is everybody's story, but just like not having a great relationship with taking tests, especially when it means like this type of test is supposed to mean so much for your future per se. And that's also adds to the pressure And I just want to be very, very brief, but I do want to give like a little backstory. So I am like one of those inner city kids who didn't really have like a lot of money, went to a public school, and the teachers, like it was so bad to the point where like I love to learn, but the classroom sizes were very, very huge. And then they would like put the kids who like were considered quote unquote bad or like didn't want to learn in the back. And then they would put the kids who like did well or paid more attention in the front. And some shape or form, I got put in the back, and I was supposed to be in the back because I actually wanted to be able to learn. So like I feel like a lot of my relationship with just like learning and being able to get the proper attention like was kind of just hindered starting very young. So when I went to high school, I was put into a program to be able to get like assistance with SAT prep, and that cost like almost like $900. Like it was crazy. Like it's very expensive. And then to still like go through those classes and then still not feel confident about like my scores and have to submit them, like it's very discouraging. So, and I know that like I worked my butt off. So like the fact that those scores kind of like, it just feel like those numbers just kind of don't really, like you said, doesn't determine your progress. So that's just my comment. I just want to say like, I think this is very important. And it speaks a lot about like, not just like junior year or high school years, but even childhood too, and like kind of where you come from. So yeah.
Okay, Senator Rink, point of clarification.
Yeah, I was just wondering if anyone knew, we sort of mentioned it already, but if we do make Towson test optional, like, is anyone have any idea of how those tests would factor in if a student chooses to submit them anyway? Like, would they be taken, because for me personally, I took the SAT because I did have poor grades at the beginning of my high school experience, and then the SAT I feel boosted my application, but I understand that that is completely subjective to the type of person. So I was just wondering how they would be factored in. I'm not sure if anyone can answer that or anything.
I mean, I think that the easy answer is it's the same as it is right now. If you decide to submit the test, then it'll be just like I'm sure all of us did when we submitted our tests.
Vice President DeVoe, point of clarification.
Oh, I also was going to say, like, I'm sure the university, as it does for other things, consult with other universities on how they do that with text flexibility and things like that. But I also, what was the, oh gosh, did it leave me? Hold on, I'm so sorry. Give me 2 seconds. Yes. So in the research that I was referencing earlier, there's also a study that kind of speaks from standardized testing's genesis. At the time, intelligence was associated with Eurocentrism. So certain questions often kind of funneled out certain undesirable ethnic backgrounds from being admitted to certain universities. So I guess we should just also be mindful of like why these were in place to begin with. But that was all I wanted to say.
Okay, Director White, point of clarification.
Yes, so I was just wondering, how would this work for students who are applying to the Honors College? Would we be waiving the need for SAT scores to be sent in if you're trying to apply to the Honors College as well? And if that is not the case, how would the lack of SAT scores, what would be the substitute for showing whether or not a student could perform well in the Honors College as a freshman?
That's also an interesting point. But as part of the Honors College, it's the process for applying to the Honors College isn't different from the normal application. with the exception of an additional essay. So that essay is really what determines the honors college application, whether you get in or not.
So there isn't another GPA requirement or anything, it's just another essay?
There is a bit higher of a GPA standard, but the additional, like the supplemental essay is the only thing that's different from the normal application task-wise.
Okay, so then students would not be submitting their SAT scores for the honors college.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same deal. It's optional, so you can or you can't, but it would be the same grading scale for the GPA, for extracurriculars, and then those 2 essays.
Okay, thank you.
Director Kapoor, you had a comment?
Yeah, I'd like to make a recommendation that we limit to this conversation for 10 more minutes.
Senator Trump will accept that recommendation.
Senator Goodman, I second that recommendation.
Is there any discussion? If not, we're not moving to a vote to, and I'm sorry, you said limit to, how many minutes did you say?
10 more minutes, so at 6:20.
Okay, so we're not moving to a vote to limit discussion to 10 minutes. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read the vote back to us?
Yeah, 14 in favor.
And with that, the motion passes. So we'll finish discussing at 6:20 and move into a vote. And Chief Sam Ambush, you have a point of clarification?
Yeah, to answer Senator Rink's question earlier, basically, I remember when I applied to American University, they basically explicitly said, like, if you don't submit your SAT scores, they will look at your GPA harder. So it's a trade-off. Generally, like, if you don't think your GPA or your extracurriculars is enough to get you through, you can take the exams and they will like look at that. But if you don't feel like you got a good score on the test, or you just don't want to do the test, then they'll just look at you based off your like extracurriculars, GPA, meaning they would just weigh it more. So there was a trade-off when it came to American University, and I'm pretty sure a lot of universities do that, where if you submit your scores, they may look at your GPA slightly less, or vice versa, just to answer her question.
Okay, and Vice President LeBeau, you have a friendly amendment?
Oh, just to remove the first section where it restates the purpose of the legislation before the first whereas, a policy concerning, et cetera, et cetera. That just doesn't need to be there. It just reiterates the top.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Point of information, point of clarification. Just wanted to ask, so will this, I mean, considering that the GPA does, weigh heavy on a university application, will they still, like, if you're, by making it, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to phrase this. Will they like make the acceptance rate, I guess, more selective at this university, considering we're going to be SAT optional. So, people who, just solely use their GPA in the application and their, essay, it'll be like judged harder.
My answer to that is I don't think this bill needs to be looked at like too technically. It's literally giving people like the option to, if you know that your SAT scores are going to hurt your acceptance or whatever into a school, you just have that option of like not submitting it to the school. I don't think like it needs to be looked at in a way that is going to drastically affect like anything for real, because this is just, I'm giving you the option to submit the scores or not. So if that makes sense. If not, Senator Trumbull, you can add them.
At the end of the day, the standards are set by admissions, and there's nothing we can do to help that. But the whole goal of this bill isn't to make the admissions process more selective, it's to make it more open and get more applications in and allow more people to apply to this school.
Senator Rink, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the admissions rate and criteria fluctuate anyway on any given admission cycle, just based on like the incoming freshmen and transfers who are applying. So I, as someone who has had experience like working with admissions in the office, I don't see this having a drastic effect at all on the exclusivity of applying to Towson. It just depends on who is applying each cycle.
Senator Teklu, you have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to say I really support this bill because I was one of those students in high school. I had like a good enough GPA, and it's like I had to take the SAT, and I don't know about anybody, but in my school, we did have one SAT class where you can take it your senior year, supposed to, you know, prepare you for the exam. But that class, if it was filled, they used to do like after school SAT prep, like classes or courses. And it's like, if you don't make that, like there was no really much opportunity for a lot of to practice those exams. So I really feel like it would really support a lot of students, and for those, you know, whose GPA or like they don't have like a lot, they don't fulfill a lot of the requirements. I feel like taking the exam and, you know, submitting it with that will support them, but at the same time, it will really be like optional, and it would help a lot of students. I know if this was there during when I was applying for college, it would really help me.
Is there any further discussion?
Call the question.
All right. So we're now about to vote on Resolution 21 as a whole. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read the vote count back to us?
14 in favor.
And with that, the motion passes.
Senator Goodman, I move that we review resolution number 22 concerning the concerning the mandatory implementation of Blackboard as a consistent grading program throughout Towson University.
Is there a second?
Senator Dixon, I second.
Is there any discussion? If not, we're now moving to a vote to review resolution number 22. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read the vote count back to us?
14 in favor.
And with that, the motion passes. We're now reviewing resolution number 22. And Senator Goodman and Senator Harding would like to speak on this bill's behalf, and Director DMA as well.
So to sum it all up, basically we've come to the realization, well, Director DMA, informed us that Blackboard actually is not standardized across the university. It's more or less a cultural norm amongst professors to use as like a grading system, but it's not required by professors to use it as like a consistent grading system. So basically a professor, you know, who like doesn't like Blackboard or thinks it's too, you know, technologically advanced and likes to do it the old school way and really not inform the students about their grades until like a certain point, you know, doesn't have to do it if he or she or they don't want to. And the thing about that is, well, students don't always know like their grades as quickly enough, especially, this can create chaos around like times where it's like withdrawal deadlines or pass fail deadlines or drop with full refund deadlines. And in addition to that they also, it's just not consistent. There are professors that will even that will completely not use Blackboard at all. There are professors that will use other grading programs. Now, I personally haven't had to deal with this, but I've heard stories of people who have, and it's kind of hectic and it can be very confusing. So this bill basically would make it mandatory to standardize Blackboard as, the mandatory grading system across the university in all departments, in all offices. And, and if there are professors who, are, resentful of this saying, look, I don't have proper training. There are virtual training sessions, or there are training sessions that are provided. You can go to them, and they'll even make, and this bill would go a step further in making those mandatory instead of the optional, like it would require each faculty member to attend at least one semester. Senator Harding, Director DMA, would you like to expand on anything I just said?
No, you kind of
Sure, I'll say something. And
no, you can go ahead because I have nothing to say. You can go.
I was going to say we really need to implement this resolution bill because not only do we need to use Blackboard to just like distribute course content as well, update grades. They also need to update grades to let students know where they currently are in terms of their grade status. Because some students that might be in certain courses might want to take the course that they're taking very seriously, and they want to know like how to either improve or to maintain that grade in that class that they have so far. And the teacher needs to consistently upgrade and update the grades on Blackboard as well as the educational content to just let them know what's going on. And not only that, if they don't know what the GPA is, as of right now, they can't even predict their cumulative GPA as of like throughout the whole entire semester that they've been at TU. And the cumulative GPA that they use, they put that on resumes and as well use that to qualify themselves for grants and scholarships and as well as for jobs. And if they don't know where they're at in terms of their GPA, they won't even be able to put that down on certain job applications or scholarship applications or anything of the sort. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. And the only thing that we did to resolve this issue concerning where the teachers aren't using Blackboard or don't know how to use it is that we suggested that professors start taking a Blackboard training session at least just once a semester to just like, refreshing themselves up on how Blackboard works.
Okay. Senator Rink, point of clarification.
Yes, so I was just wondering, so when it says in the bill that Blackboard would be a consistent grading and course info system, would that mean that all professors would have to use Blackboard instead of using something else like Canvas, or like all professors have to use Blackboard regardless of the format of the class?
That is correct. This would standardize Blackboard as a consistent grading program around the university, and it would basically say that if you're using like something like Canvas or Top Hat, it's not really the, you know.
Right. But
You can-
oh, I'm sorry.
you
Go
can- if you can use, if you're able to use Blackboard as well as like a supplement, like I once had a class that used Top Hat, but they also posted the grades. The professor also posted the grades in Blackboard. Then, you know, you're able to, then that's fine. But this would basically say that you have to use Blackboard.
So would you have to use Blackboard if so, for example, if it's a seminar class where everything is done like on paper, you would still have to upload the grades to Blackboard, or would it be at the discretion of the professor to use Blackboard? They just, if they use a grading system, it has to be Blackboard.
I can answer that. So this is mainly for professors that don't use any form of system, because I know personally for one of my classes, I already brought this up with the provost, and this is not even allowed to happen, but like some professors are sending your grades through email, which is a privacy issue. And in general, grades have to be put in some sort of system, and some professors are using their own websites, or like I said, again, emails, and that's just not allowed like in general. So this is why we are trying to create some type of structure where professors have to at least put grades into a system. And that's just happens to be Blackboard because most professors use it. Did that answer your question? If you have any more questions. Okay.
And Vice President DeVoe, point of clarification.
I was gonna say never mind, but jail. It's illegal. You can't do that.
Chief of Staff Ambush, you have a comment?
Yeah, I really support this bill. I think when you enter, and I know this because I was a orientation leader, when you enter Towson, they tell you like all your stuff's on Blackboard. And so when you get that first professor who just doesn't put emails on Blackboard or doesn't put grades on Blackboard, doesn't send you grades at all, and then you're halfway through the semester and you find out you have a C and you're just freaking out because you don't know what you missed, it can be very, very challenging, especially for freshmen, for people who just, you know, just may not know what's going on. And so just having a standard place where all the grades are at, it's very easy. You literally just plug in the percentage, it's in. I do definitely think we will get pushback from professors, but my 3 years here, every time we try to tell the professors to do the bare minimum, they get very upset. I don't know why. You're paid to do this. We're not. But so really, sorry, really like, I really support this bill. And like Anna said, them sending your grades through email is a FERPA violation, which is against federal law. So clock your professors if they do that. Be like, your grades should be on Blackboard, not email. It's not my job to calculate it. You're paid. That's it.
Okay, and Senator Dixon, you had a recommendation?
Yes, I have a recommendation, and feel free for people to discuss this, but I just have been listening to us and all talking about this situation, and I feel like, one, I agree. Two, I recommend that we create another therefore be it resolved for teachers or professors who use Blackboard. They should have grades, like basically grades submitted no longer than 2 weeks the data assignment is due, to ensure timeliness, and that is being consistent for all students to be able to know exactly where they stand in the class, because it's very unfair for it to be like last minute, I guess, like notifications of like grades that you forgot that you even did an assignment, and then you see something pops up and you're like, well, okay, how can I fix this? And then time is running out. And I just feel like having because we have deadlines that we have to meet for all assignments. So why shouldn't they? They assign it, we do it, they grade it within a given time that's appropriate for everybody. So I feel like having a therefore be a resolve that says that teachers who use Blackboard should submit grades no later than 2 weeks after the assignment was supposed to be due, like that, to ensure timeliness for all students and even the professors. I yield.
Is there a second?
This is Senator Rank, I second.
Is there any discussion?
I completely agree. That's it.
If no further discussion, we'll now move into a vote to add an additional therefore be resolved as in and a time constraint on professors when they should have the grades by a certain amount of time. I'm sorry. I thought I had it in my mind of what you said. I'm sorry. Can you write the specific wording in the chat, please?
Yes.
I just want to make sure I say it correctly.
Wait, I'm sorry. Point of information. Am I supposed to be typing this out and then we vote, or they vote and then I send it? Or
I would say type it out now, just so it can already be in there, and then it will vote. We did not start the vote just yet. For those who's typed in favor, we did not start the vote just yet.
President Wheeler, could I give a point of clarification while we're waiting? Okay, thank you. This will likely have to go through the Faculty Senate because we are in a shared governance body. So if that meeting comes up and you all feel passionate, SGA representation is essential to that happening in the way we would like it to happen. Because if there's just two of us and we're outnumbered, there's a really that hearing you all's experiences may change that. And I know I have a professor that I spoke with recently in office hours, and she was really receptive. At first, I didn't know if she would be, but I think hearing you all's experiences will definitely impact how they choose to vote. So just look out for that if this bill.
Point of clarification. I thought I was under the impression that as of the spring 2018 semester, the fall 2018 semester, the shared governance system was adjusted by presidential decree to make it so that any bills passed in the Student Senate would go directly to President Schatzel's desk instead of having to be passed through the Faculty Senate first.
While I cannot confirm or deny that, I would say just for bills that specifically affect faculty, I anticipate them wanting to see this resolution, and I anticipate them having an opinion. I can't confirm or deny that to be true though, personally, but thank you for letting us know.
Okay, so we will now move into a vote to add in a therefore be a resolved section saying that professors who use Blackboard should have grades submitted no later than 1 to 2 weeks. The day assignment is due to ensure timeliness and less confusion with current standing. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read the vote count back to us?
14 in favor.
And with that, the motion passes. And just give me 1 second, guys. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions or things like that. Senator Williams, you have point of information?
So now it's not a point of information, just well, I guess, okay, we'll see. So where it says the training session once a semester, do you think, so since the professors, since they'll have an opinion, do you think that would be something that they would want, or do you think once a semester? This isn't a motion or anything. Just a question. Do you think once a semester might be too much? Because it seems like once you understand Blackboard, you kind of understand it. I don't know if once a semester is a necessity, but that's just in my own experience. So maybe I would suggest, I'm not making a motion, but I would suggest once a year, but I'm interested in hearing someone else's opinion. So yeah, I yield. That's it.
I can kind of answer that. Wait, was someone gonna go before me?
Yeah, it was me, Senator Harding. I was gonna say
Go ahead.
I highly recommend that we make them do at least one session because, for one, there are some teachers that, I don't mean to say this or be disrespectful, that are very old and are quote unquote dinosaurs, and they might need to take this session to figure out their way around just Blackboard, period. It might really help even new faculty and staff figure out how Blackboard works, especially if Blackboard might decide to do an update out of the blue somewhere. So I highly suggest that we do this just in case.
Also to add to that, I was gonna say, like, not only the update part, but also from what I've heard from the provost, there are already sessions that are put once a semester. The only thing is that they're not mandatory. So that's why we made the switch from optional to mandatory, because they're already once a semester anyways. But yeah.
Okay, Chief of Staff Ambush, for the clarification.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer Senator Goodsman's question. Vice President DeVoe is very much correct. Both of you are correct. So what would likely happen is our bill goes to Kim Satchel's desk, but she will definitely ask the provost her opinion, and I think the provost would want all the professors' opinion, so they would probably do a parallel bill in the faculty senate, and then both our bills will be on Kim Satchel's desk, and then she will decide from there. We've seen similar bills like that happen in the past, like the fossil fuel bill that happened, it went through our Senate, and then a parallel came out in the faculty Senate that was slightly different. So, stuff like that tends to happen. So our bill will go directly to Kim Satchel's desk, but, I could foresee Kim Satchel like giving it to the provost and then the provost throwing it to the faculty Senate for their opinion.
Okay. And Vice President DeVoe, you had a friendly amendment to make it a therefore be it further resolved?
Correct. Regarding the motion regarding Senator Dixon's motion, just the wording.
Okay, is there any further discussion? If not, we will now vote on the bill as a whole with the added recommendations. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Gopur, can you please read the vote aloud for us?
14 in favor.
Thank you. And with that, the motion passes. Are there any motions on the floor?
Senator Goodman, I move that we review resolution number 23 concerning the extension of pass-fail. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I keep reading the resolution below that resolution. Resolution 23 concerning the treatment of resident assistants at Towson University by Housing and Residence Life. Housing and Residence Life should have a yearly emergency plan in place to protect resident assistants in case of an emergency.
Is there a second?
Senator Teddy, I second.
Is there any discussion? If no further discussion, we will now move to a vote to review resolution number 23. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapur, can you please read the vote count back to us?
Yes, we have 13 in favor.
Well, that the motion passes. And thank you for letting us know. Okay. And Senator Eagerly, would you like to speak on this bill's behalf?
Yeah, I would. Okay, so basically, this whole like semester has been like very crazy. I know for myself, I was supposed to move on campus, and then literally Saturday I was like moving in and I got the email that we were like leaving. And I was just talking to like a lot of RAs, some that are my friends and then some that just like came and talked to me, and they're just saying how they really weren't aware of anything either, like just the abrupt us abruptly leaving, and they just felt really disheartened a little bit because they just felt like everything was just out of order and that HRO really wasn't there for them. And obviously like later they got like some sort of compensation, but it was just like the fact that there was really like no plan and that they just felt out the loop. So with this bill, like with talking to them and seeing what they wanted to see us do if we could do anything for them, was just having like some sort of plan that HRO has to like give resident assistants, and just saying like, okay, like if we leave, this is what we're doing. No, we don't have to show the presentation. Basically like if we leave, this is like their plan that they have in place. If we stay, unfortunately, we really don't know what's going on with COVID. There always can be like something else. So yeah.
Senator Goodman, you have a comment?
Yes, I just want to say that I fully encourage people, even though I didn't write this bill, I fully encourage people to support this bill. I have friends who are RAs, and they were, like just hearing like some of their stories and like how they handled, the evacuation, the, on-campus evacuation in March, and then again also with what happened more recently in September. Late August, because it was really only a few days into the semester. It's just, just sounds stressful just hearing about it. And we can do better as a university. We can really do better. And I think that HRL, needs to be able to help out their RAs in times of need. And this is one of those times. If they have the funding, they can do it.
Okay, Senator Rink, you had point of clarification.
Yeah, just to say it out loud, Towson has no contingency plan at this point for its RAs in case of an emergency.
From what the RAs had told me, there wasn't like a plan, or if there was something, it was like weeks later. Like it wasn't like mandatory.
Interesting. I also just want to say I completely support the bill.
Okay, Director Whiteside, you have a comment?
Yeah, I was gonna say, as an RA myself, I can definitely attest to that the HRL literally doesn't really have a plan. And if they do, they tell it to us either the day of or the day before. And we're kind of expected to go with it. And that's basically how it is.
Chief of Staff Ambush, point of clarification.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I left the RA position just because I didn't like how they handled it. I just quit. So I don't really quit many things. So that really shows, like, to me, and I know it's not completely HRL's fault. Like, Towson literally told the entire university we were closing like at the same time, like professors, everyone found out at the exact same time. But like they should have had a plan, and the plan just wasn't there. Like even my own like superiors seemed to not know what was going on. So it was really frustrating. But yeah.
Okay, Director White, point of clarification.
Would CEAs be involved in this as well? So would Housing and Residence Life also be required to have a contingency plan for those folks who are, I believe they're called CAs, the people that like work at the desks of the residence halls?
That's a good question. I think I really just focused on the RAs, but they would definitely be included because they are like student workers. I think like the whole goal of the bill is just at the end of the day, they're students. RAs honestly really do a lot. And I think I think they're required to do like, I think HRO forgets that they're students from what I've like been told. And they're like, okay, you have to do all this. And at the end of the day, yeah, they signed up for this. They're RAs, but they're students. They kind of do this for like money. Like, it's just a lot. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get like wild up because this been like for some time, but yeah. But I think definitely CCAs would be involved in this. If like HRO did do a plan, they would tell all of their workers.
Okay, and Senator Trumbull, point of clarification.
I was just curious about if you have any idea of what a contingency plan like this would look like, just because I'm concerned that if we don't have an idea of what direction we want to take a plan like this for every year, they won't make an adequate plan. It'll just kind of not be good enough.
I think the plan will probably just be like I guess more so like, how like this semester we kind of like went home like after a week. I think they would have a plan and saying like, okay, like in case we go home or if there's like a surge in coronavirus cases, this is what our plan is. So just basically, I don't know if that like makes any sense, but just in case of emergency, what their plan would be, in case if we have hybrid learning, what their plan would be. It just seems like the RAs had really no idea what was going on and that they were just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, I was just really wondering if you had any idea of like, just with your vision, what would a plan like that look like?
Okay, and Senator Reed would like to make a motion.
Yes, I move to add CCA to the bill wherever resident assistant is mentioned, so that the bill affects both resident assistants and CCAs in the same way.
Is there a second?
Senator Flynn, I second.
I did not catch who seconded that. Dr. Kapoor, did you did?
I did, sorry.
Is there any discussion? And Senator, can you please type the exact wording in the chat, please? Okay. If there's no further discussion, we're now moving to a vote to add in community center assistant to the resolution wherever resident assistant is mentioned. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read the vote back to us?
We have 13 in favor.
And with that, the motion passes. Is there any further discussion? Senator Williams, point of information.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we okay? So for the bill, so we're doing an emergency plan, but just for the sake of the bill, I think Senator Trumbull, you talked about how like saying what kind of plan is important. I think it is only because they can say a plan is that all RAs and CCAs will be fired, like in case of emergency. So just to say, like, and I know you said it'll ensure that they'll be protected, but I don't know how we could word this in order to just to make sure that they're not, that the plan isn't that they're just dismissed. Just if that makes sense. Yeah, that's it. I yield.
Okay. If no further discussion, we'll now vote on the bill as a whole. Although, this
point of information. Do any of the senators have a motion concerning like more specificity to this plan? Just because that came up in the discussion, but I'm not sure if that was addressed at all. Or do you all want to keep it up to the administration to implement how they see fit?
Would I like move to table the bill for a week so that we could make a couple more sections about what we think this plan should look like?
You can absolutely do that. The Senate, it's up to you all's discretion.
So I move to do that.
is there a second?
Senator Goodman, I second that.
Is there any discussion? Chief of Staff Ambush, you have a comment?
Yeah, so my idea would be, I feel like to have an emergency plan takes a lot of like expertise that may be outside of our limitations. Like I have a whole range of ideas of what you could do. Like you could have like a RA rep that is like at all these meetings or something, and there's probably different people have different plans. So I would be more in favor of passing this bill now and then approaching HRL with the bill and be like, we want input on how this plan will go instead of the reverse, because I do think this plan will need to take like longer than a week to like figure out and implement, and like it will probably be a lot of discussions, not only with HRL, but like you would probably have to get like HR involved and just kind of like what are the because like to create this plan would require everyone to sign a contract, so there is legalese that has to be involved. Like I know they make all the RAs sign a contract that says a bunch of stuff. So I think it might take more than a week, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, Senator England, you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just saying that like I agree with Olivier. Like I definitely believe like I could have made it a little more specific. I guess my only concern is like I'm not an HRL and I wouldn't, know exactly what to say or what to do. I want it to be like I really just want this to work for the RAs. So I definitely get where everybody's coming from, but I just think maybe we should like I'm willing to definitely talk to HRL and like give them this bill and like maybe like collaborate, but I really don't think I have like the expertise to like write anything extra.
Okay, Senator Trumbull, you have a comment?
Yeah, so I guess I think the better way to put it is rather than kind of start to form the plan, maybe propose, I don't want to say demands, but I guess demands, like, they get some kind of a pay throughout the semester, even if they go home, or they're guaranteed housing or something. But if we do send this bill through, I was wondering, once the plan is in motion, would we be able to write another bill, like later down the road, trying to influence how that plan is laid out? That was a question.
Oh, sorry. I'm open to doing that, basically. If anybody wants to like work with me or anything, then I'm
Yeah,
like definitely
I'd
open.
love to help out. That sounds like something I'd definitely be down to do.
Vice President believes that you can respond or answer that question.
Yeah, so there are a couple of different ways we can go about implementing and working with their department. So you can, the way that we've started to do this semester, come to them with the resolution, present it to them in advance, and then discuss it. Or this happened recently, have tangible like lists of requests of how you would like it to go. And if you approach that meeting with them and say, this is what we were thinking, we're open to hearing suggestions, that kind of thing, they're pretty receptive and they'll let you know if it's doable or not. But another bill, I honestly don't think it would necessarily be necessary unless they made it clear that they did not want to do that. And we had to fight them on it, which, we don't want to fight if we don't have to. So, during that meeting, you all can discuss that a little bit further. That would be my recommendation, would be to bring it to them as it stands right now and just be like, this is what we would like to see. How would you envision it going? And ask for concrete answers, of course, but I wouldn't approach it with another bill until it was time. But Advisor Bailey, I believe, had a suggestion, so I can yield my time.
Thank you very much, Vice President DeVoe. I was just starting to type in the chat space. I think it would be a really good idea for all of you to have time with Kelly Hoover, who's the Assistant Vice President for Housing and Residence Life, and Melinda Jensen, who's the Director for Housing and Residence Life, just to kind of clear up some of the unknowns that were posed during this conversation. Clearly, there are many of you that are either RAs currently or former RAs and stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot of knowledge that you all bring to the table. But I really think it would be important to have some dedicated time with those individuals to talk more about some of the elements of the bill, the resolution, and any concerns that you have, because you want to make sure that whatever you push forward in this regard is informed as you can make it happen. So that's just my suggestion. Hopefully we can make that happen as this bill continues to move forward. With that, I yield. Thank you very much.
Okay, and President Indiong, you had a comment?
Yeah, I went ahead and typed it in the chat. I was just saying that if you did want something in the resolution, maybe just a sentence that says that the plan should ensure job or at least financial security. That way we can kind of formulate the idea we're going for. And then, like Vice President DeVoe said, just continue on the conversation in meetings. Yes, that is a recommendation.
Senator Williams, I accept that recommendation.
Senator Trumbull, I second.
Vice President DeVoe, just to ensure, because we're still in the discussion portion of tabling it, so when we have the vote on that first and then accept the recommendations.
And that is why you are the pro temp. Excuse me, you're right.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So yes, we have the first vote to table this bill or not first.
Okay, just let me know whenever you're ready for it then.
Okay, so we're now moving to a vote to table this bill until next GA. All those in favor? All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Gopur, can you please read the vote aloud for us?
Yes, 12 in favor and 2 opposed. And just a reminder, please write your vote after Pro Temp Wheeler has said it. Thank you.
And with that, the motion has passed to table this bill to next GA. And I see Vice President DeVoe, you have a point of information.
I just want to ask, I don't mean to insult your intelligence, any of the senators, just because you all are new. I just want to ask, is everyone clear on what we mean when we say the verbiage tabling? Is everybody clear on that? That just means that we're pushing it to the next meeting. I just want to make sure when we voted on that everyone was clear, but that's just me hoping you all are okay. But yeah, if not, then ignore me.
Okay, are there any announcements? If not, are there any motions on the floor? Oh, I'm sorry, Chief Step Ambush, you have a comment?
Please do the survey. Sorry, I was like, it like left my mind. I was like typing as quick as I can. Please do survey. Please do survey. You have until 5 p.m. Friday, but like the sooner you do it, the less stress on you. Again, it's not mandatory because I can't track you all down, but it's like it's like Olivier asking please, it's mandatory. So please do it. It's really, really important. We really want to know like how you are all feeling in SGA. We really want to get a pulse. So yeah.
Okay, Senator Trump, you have a comment?
Yeah, super quick. One of my student organizations, Lights Out at TU, is trying to organize park cleanups. If you're interested, please reach out to me.
All right. If there are no more announcements, are there any motions on the floor? Oh, Director Kabor, you have an announcement?
Hi, I'm so sorry. This is gonna take 1 minute. So actually, I'm not sure where it went, but today in a meeting, I know a lot of people have wanted to do closed captioning during Zoom events, and we haven't really found it being successful unless someone actually types it up. But I did learn that Google Slides presentation does closed captioning, and I can get a tutorial from a faculty member about how to work that for Zoom meetings. So then I can give you guys a tutorial. So if anyone's interested in that, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any more announcements? Going once, twice. Okay, if there are no more announcements.
Senator Goodman, I move that we adjourn if there are no more announcements.
Senator Trumbull, I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? If not, we're now moving to a vote to adjourn. All those in favor?
I'll stay ready with the favor for adjournment.
All opposed? Abstaining? And Director Kapoor, can you please read the vote aloud for us?
Yes, 14 in favor.
And with that, we are adjourned. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
Bye, everyone.
The energy you all have when you do vote to adjourn needs to be the energy we have all evening.
Y'all need to just have it copy paste, ready to go.
Exactly.
I have a question for anybody who can answer. It's just a very quick thing. I have like an idea for a resolution, but I'm not sure if I should be the one who writes it or if I should just ask somebody to write it on my behalf. And just how that process goes.
So no, because since you are a senator, you are able to write it for yourself. When it's on somebody's behalf, that's more so from a director or exec board. So since you are a senator, you can just go ahead and write it yourself. Just let me and Vice President DeVoe know what you're writing.
Sure. Okay. So that's what I'm about to ask. Like, if I want to write a resolution, I can just go ahead and start, but inform you guys what I'm actually trying to do first, and then go into it.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What she said. But email us before you start, because just to make sure someone else isn't writing that bill too. But that's the only reason.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye. Y'all see my pro temp out here, ready with the information. I'm proud all the time.
Hey, stop live stream. Stop the live stream.